Hello. Amana here with your quarterly moon soul messages. Today's October 10th, 2024. It's a Thursday, and today this is the waxing half moon in Capricorn. Today also happens to be my mother-in-law's 75th birthday. So yeah, my kids and I made a cheesecake per her request for her today. And yeah, I love that her birthday's on 10/10. Such a fun and magical birthday number. Yeah, and so I'm excited to see what arises today. I have been feeling extremely exhausted recently, and perhaps it's just this like inward energy of this season, but I have been struggling to get the amount of rest that I feel my body would like. My husband is away for work again right now, out of state. He's down helping after the Hurricane Helene, so I'm soloing it with my two littles, which is, it's beautiful and unique in its own ways, and yet of course we also miss having him around. So let's get into it. So today I wanted to first choose a card from this Raising Free People deck by Akila S. Richards. It's a fun and unique, different sort of deck. And I don't use it too often here. I've used it a few times in these moon messages, but I just wanted to pull one card from this deck here today. Definition. Interesting. Okay, what does it say on the back? So the front says definition. The back here says the definition is however you would describe the details of a comfortable living environment where learning and life are not siloed into separate boxes. Okay, so it says, I'm going to read it one more time. The definition is however you would describe the details of a comfortable living environment where learning and life are not siloed into separate boxes. So because she's all about unschooling and raising free people, I believe that this is trying to describe what that might look like for someone. But in this moment, for the greater collective of you, mostly women here, soaking in these messages, it feels like this invitation to create our own definitions, to not parcel things into two different boxes where, learning and life are not separated, right? Because throughout life we're learning, whether it's in a very structured way like colonized school, or through a PowerPoint presentation or a specific class. We learn in all sorts of ways. I've learned so much that was not in a school. I did go to public school. I went to college. I got a degree in sociology, and then I got a degree in nursing. I've done other certifications, but those things aren't the only way that we learn. We learn through our life experience and doing and failing. And so this feels like this greater invitation to remember that our life doesn't happen in these neat little containers. I've been thinking about the election coming up and how the way the government in the US and is set up in a way where they want you to choose Democratic or Republican. Are you red or are you blue? And what if we're not either? What if we're purple? How would that be? Or how can we be pieces of both? And why do we need to choose one or the other? Is that really realistic for life? Does life really operate in that way? And does having these two parties set us up to be in conflict with one another and be against one another, these binaries, and creating just a greater conflict with one another, I guess is my best way to put that. But anyway, I don't want to go deeper in that right now. I am going to pull probably 2 cards if I have time for it from this herbal astrology. Oops, upside down. The Herbal Astrology Oracle by Adriana Ayales. I have just continued to be called back to this one until I don't anymore. I still am drawing, like, although I've looked at each and every card in this deck, I haven't actually pulled each and every card in this deck for myself or for you all in these drawings. So let's see what wisdom, what messages are here to come through now. Let's see what card inspires here. Oops. Okay. Sometimes I'm like, okay, I don't know which one. This one. Oh, I think I have pulled this one. It's so funny. It's Arnica, teacher, as we were just talking about learning. I love that this shows that, you know, teachers come in all shapes, sizes. Like, to me, trees are one of my teachers. The soil is a teacher. Flowers are my teachers. Water is one of my teachers. And here it's showing this older woman creating medicine from these arnica flowers. I love how it just, there's this wolf also howling with the mountains. This reminds me and just makes me think about how we learn from doing, we learn from experiencing, and that, yes, plants are medicine and teachers that we can learn from across time. And what are they speaking to us if we take the time to listen? Arnica is a herb that I feel like has gained more popularity. Like, now you can find arnica like salve and balm and homeopathics in kind of mainstream grocery stores, at least here in Washington State. I don't know. Tell me if it's true where you are as well. Yeah. So this also makes me think about pain, because that's one of the main uses of arnica. And where might you be feeling a little bit of pain? Is it in your heart? Is it your back, a hip, your head? Can you notice that pain? Is it sending you a message? And also, can we orient to the opposite? Like, I feel like it's common to complain or to state where we're experiencing pain in our body, and maybe even just like take stock of that. But how would it feel if right now you took a moment and felt, where in my body do I feel pleasure right now? Where do I feel pleasure? Right now, I feel like this warmth on the back of my arms that feels pleasurable to me. I'm sitting on this big Shiva stone, and that I have a blanket there, and then this stone, and the pressure, the firm pressure of the contact from my bones onto this stone feels surprisingly like pleasant and pleasurable. And can I feel into that? Can I move that? Can I move, like, okay, right now when I do think about it, I do have some like pain in my lower back here. And can I, you see the doggies right there. Can I move the pleasure that I feel from one space? Can I move that pleasure then into a place of discomfort? Does it feel any better? Something for you to maybe practice and try. Do you have some pleasure or in one part of your body that can you then energetically move it to a place in your body that isn't feeling that way? Yeah, let me know. Okay. One more card here. So interesting, these pulls. You never know what's going to arise here. Ayahuasca 50, rebirth. Oh my gosh, there's so much going on in this card here. There is this ayahuasca woman here, and you see wrapped up in some of her roots is this baby. There's this snake, which is also rebirth energy. This is such a powerful card here. She's weaving the DNA. There's a jaguar up here in this corner. I feel like this is so complementary to the season. Like, you know, a snake sheds its skin, just like the leaves are shedding right now. The pine needles are shedding off the trees here. We as humans have the opportunity to shed that which is no longer serving us, whatever that may look like to you. Some people like to cut their hair. I did cut a decent amount off of my dreads on the autumn equinox. It felt like a good time to do that. I think I'm going to take a little bit more, but it's a natural time of shedding, a natural time of going inward, sort of into the cocoon, into this womb-like space, like this little one here. That messages come both in the dark and in the light. And there's so much wisdom in both places, and that one defines another, and we can't have one without the other. And actually, now that I'm saying this, I feel like I said something maybe similar in the last messages, but sometimes we need to hear something over and over again before it really sinks in, or a slightly different language, or from someone new. How many of you have like told your significant other or spouse something, like tried to teach them something or tell them about something, and they sort of, you know, they say, oh yeah, okay, but somewhat dismissive or don't really like soak it in, and then months later or even years later, they say, oh, so-and-so just told me about this. Can you believe this? And you're like, dude, I told you that like months ago, years ago. This has happened to me, and probably has happened to you too. So I feel there's like this little angel here with this cup overfloweth of this liquid. Makes me think of the water of life, this cosmos. Yes. Okay. So you get to define what a good life looks like, feels like, is like for you. We don't have to live by the standards of everyone around us, and really we shouldn't. I encourage you not to strive for a life, for the life of someone that you don't actually want. I've spent many years trying to be what I thought other people wanted me to be, and now here I am just being who I am, and defining what success looks like for me, defining what a good life looks like for me. When I worked in palliative care, this was an important like dialogue that we would have with people as they're nearing, you know, the end of their life or contemplating death and the end of their life. And what is quality of life to you? Because that's individual for each person. And Arnica, teacher, who are your teachers? Teachers show up in so many different ways, not just in human form. And what are you shedding right now? How are you diving into your cocoon, or how are you cocooning yourself so that you might emerge at a future time in a new version of you? I hope you enjoy these messages. So much love to each and every one of you. And I'll see you in about a week's time on the full moon. Mwah.